Earlier today, the Los Angeles Rams have announced that they'll be parting ways with head coach Jeff Fisher. And this kind of comes as a surprise to some. Others, they were kind of expecting this, but maybe was it a little too early? I mean, this comes with a short week, as the Rams will be playing Seattle this Thursday night. So it comes at kind of one of the worst times if you're a fan of the Rams or a player on the Rams team. It just adds another distraction to a big game against a division rival in the Seattle Seahawks, who are going to be coming out really angry, especially that embarrassing loss in Lambeau yesterday to Green Bay. Let's let's go through a timeline of Jeff Fisher. I'm going to stick out with the move back to LA. I'm going to start at that because it sticks out the most. And when you go to St. Louis, based in the Midwest, all the way back to Los Angeles, it increases revenue. I mean, you add some of the fans there, like you can get more local fans out there, especially in LA, especially when it's regional coverage. Because Fox or CBS, they usually do all this regional coverage stuff. And it's always on throughout LA. So it kind of works for local fan revenue. It works kind of with advertisement. I just feel like one of the mistakes they made, which kind of led to this decision to part ways, was trading up for Jared Goff and all the sacrifices that they made for that. I said personally, I said back in January, I would rather have Carson Wentz than Jared Goff. So I feel like Carson Wentz is more NFL ready. I mean, sure, Carson Wentz hasn't done perfect. He hasn't been perfect at all. However, there is still room to improve. I feel like if the Eagles can improve their offensive line in the draft, and if they can maybe resign Deshaun Jackson, like what they were kind of saying, that could happen in free agency, I feel like the Eagles can get back to where they were. The Eagles can be great again. I mean, when you're putting all your eggs in the Jared Goff basket, I mean, what it did is they traded so much to the Titans for, I believe, like 6 picks were dealt just for this. And the fact that they weren't even starting, they were holding him out. They put in Case Keenum to start week 1. And what brought people to be clueless was that the Rams announced that they were going to be starting Case Keenum in week 1 in 2016, all the way back in December or January. So of course it raised some eyebrows the day they announced that they were going to trade up with the Titans for the number 1 pick. It made you think, were they really going to draft a quarterback, or were they going to draft maybe Joey Bosa, or were they going to draft like a corner in Vernon Hargreaves, or were they going to try to boost up the offensive line by wanting Laremy Tunsil themselves? It raised some eyebrows, especially because nobody expected Jared Goff to be like a number 1 overall pick at the time. They most thought it was going to be Carson Wentz. I mean, I would have drafted Carson Wentz. And then they supposedly gave him an extension at the end of preseason. So this is also why it comes as a surprise, because a couple weeks ago they said that Jeff Fisher was going to get an extension at the end of the year. And this was before the humiliating loss against New England and Atlanta. And even after they lost in week 1, 28-0 on Monday Night Football opening weekend. Which now makes that loss more embarrassing, because that's the 49ers' only win of the year. When you think about it, if it wasn't for that week 1 loss against San Francisco's probably a winless team as well. However, after the week 1 loss, a 3-game winning streak, which included wins over division rival Seattle and division rival Arizona. So what you really thought was the Rams were heading in the right direction. But things just started to turn. I mean, it was just loss after loss. I mean, the Rams fans were even questioning, where is Jared Goff going to play? Why aren't they playing Goff? And they were frustrated because there was a point where Jared Goff was the 3rd quarterback on the depth chart. They had Sean Mannion ahead of Jared Goff. So what is next for the Rams? Well, they really need to hope that Jared Goff is going to be exactly what they thought he was hyped up to be. Because if it's not, the Rams are going to be the next Cleveland Browns. I mean, let's just face the facts. The Rams will be the new Cleveland Browns if Jared Goff does not start winning games in the next season and a half. I mean, there is talent all over the Rams roster. You got Aaron Donald, who's one of the best defensive players in all of the NFL. In fact, probably a top 5 defensive player in the NFL. Todd Gurley, who has not gotten a lot of production this year. And that comes as a surprise. I mean, Todd Gurley wasn't getting his share of touches. Tavon Austin, he also wasn't getting a lot of touches. So what the Rams need to do, here's what I would do. Before you even think about trying to make a coach, just tank for something. Just trade trade Todd Gurley if you have to, because I'm sure Todd Gurley's going to be demanding a trade at some point. Because Todd Gurley's a winner. And Todd Gurley doesn't want to be on a team like the Rams if they're not going to win games. Or in fact, maybe trade Sean Mannion to the Browns. Maybe you can get a draft pick out of there. You can get a draft pick out of it. Maybe a 4th rounder. Or maybe a 7th rounder. To get some offensive line help. Because that's probably one of the main causes is the Rams' offensive line. Because clearly yesterday against Atlanta, the offensive line was not giving Jared enough time. He was just hurrying his throws. All right, so let's get to some possible coaching replacements. Now this first one, it's kind of a bold one. But if you look at it, maybe it could happen. Maybe this would improve revenue for Los Angeles. Rex Ryan. Now, there's talks that Rex Ryan is either going to be let go by Buffalo. I mean, there was a report yesterday that he could be let go as early as today. But I didn't think it was going to be today. It's either going to be next week if they struggle against the Browns, or in the event lose it, or he's going to get let go at the end of the season. In fact, I can probably name 3 coaches that will be let go at the end of the year. Rex Ryan, Marvin Lewis. I'm sorry. And probably, if they do not make the playoffs, probably Mike McCarthy. And that Mike McCarthy is kind of a bold one. And I can also see Gus Bradley being relieved of his duties. So maybe you can try to offer one of those 4 coaches. Or you can probably get somebody with an offensive genius kind of mind. Like maybe Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, he's been working with Matt Ryan lately. And he has some experience with the Browns, but the Browns are not that bad of a team. It's just that they don't utilize the talent. I've been saying it all year. There's a lot of talent on the Cleveland Browns roster. It just doesn't get utilized the way that it needs to get utilized. And I feel like Kyle Shanahan could bring LA back on the map, especially with an offensive genius kind of mind. Because he's been working with Matt Ryan the last 2-3 seasons. And Matt Ryan's evolving into an elite quarterback. And you can do the same thing for Jared Goff. I mean, I like Jared Goff's play style. He was good at finding the open receivers at California. And I feel like you got to utilize also the talent you drafted around him. Like Pharaoh Cooper, Tyler Higbee. You got to utilize it all. And this one, it could be a bold one, but the way you think about it, it's Mike Smith, the current defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I know Mike Smith is defensive coordinator, but he has some experience of coaching a great offense. In fact, he was on the Atlanta Falcons team for that NFC Championship run. And basically what happened is the Atlanta Falcons just smoked game after game after game. They went 13-3 that year. And one of the losses, they just benched their starters. So technically they went 14-2 realistically. And you had Matt Ryan, you had Julio Jones, you had Roddy White. You had an explosive offense. And right now, with Kyle Shanahan as well, being the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, he's also using an explosive offense. So Kyle Shanahan can really bring offensive talent with him. He's got a great. He seems like he's mastering the game in the offense side of the football. He's improving from last year. I'll leave it at that. Rams fans, if there are any that watch the program, which I'm sure there are, comment below who you think the new coach should be. And also like, subscribe to the channel. I mean, we're over 540 subscribers, but I want to keep going. I'm not like asking for subscribers, but it'd mean a lot if I can gain a little bit more to kind of prove that I can do this. Nobody thought I can do it. Just the more I gain, the happier I feel, the more motivated I am to bring these quality videos, even though some may not think they're good in quality. But share this with your friends, family, all over on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. But have a good day, everybody. I will see you next time. We're going to have the Week 15 NFL predictions tomorrow. And later on this week, maybe Wednesday night or Thursday morning, we'll do the non-New Year's 6 bowl games. And then probably, I don't know, we'll probably do one of the two. We're probably going to do the New Year's 6 separate. We'll maybe do the non-New Year's 6 tomorrow afternoon. And then we will do the New Year's 6 ones probably Thursday morning. And we will also do the playoff ones around Christmas Eve, where I have nothing to do. So I will see you then. I'll figure something out. But have a good day, everybody. I'll see you next time.